Sai Ram, everyone. The Swami has introduced the words Vidya and Avidya, and he is going on to explain what is Avidya and their relationship. Swami has already talked about Avidya being inherent in Vidya, and Swami uses the term Vikriti for the deformation of a word, and that's where we were. So I will ask Sister Kalyani to continue with the paragraph which we read last week, which was Swami talking about Vikriti. Sai Ram, Sister Kalyani.
Sai Ram. Bhakta. How is that, Swami? Vidya is effulgent in the Lord, and avidya is apparent only because of vidya. That is to say, the universal cosmic principle is in the Lord, and this universal principle itself appears as individual, different from individual, by the external characteristics of name and form. The appearance of individuals is caused. This avidya shakti, or the power of ignorance, also manifests as an inseparable entity. For the Lord is the only existence. Therefore, that one existence is the basis or foundation for the universal and the particular, the totality as well as the apparent parts. This is your meaning, isn't it, Swami? Swami. That is why the Lord is referred to as Satya, truth, and Brahman. This Satyam is Akanda, or indivisible. It is Advaita, non-dual. It is Ananta, without end. In the Upanishads, this Satya, associated with the unmanifested Maya Shakti, is called the Purna, Ada, and the Satya associated with the manifested Maya Shakti is called the Purna Idam. This is the secret of the Upanishadic mantra Purnamada Purnamidam.
Sai Ram, everyone. As you can see, Swami is trying to elaborate on how this universal cosmic principle is unmanifest, not individualized, takes on the individual forms because of the avidya shakti, or the power of ignorance. So where we identify each as separate, and so that's roughly the explanation. Swami says the existence as separate entities is because of this avidya or ignorance, whereas in vidya we understand the divinity which is underlying everything, which is indivisible, akhanda. There's no break. As khanda is a break, akhanda means that which doesn't have a break. Advaita is not true. And the last one is ananta. There's no end to it. Eternal is what Swami says. So I will stop here. And Swami, as you can see, Swami says that is also Purnam. This is also Purnam. Complete. That's complete. This is complete. In a divided form also it's complete. In an undivided form also it's complete. Is what Swami says. So I will stop here. If anyone would like to share your thoughts or comments, please do so. Sai. I guess no one is speaking up. So So as you can see, actually all of us may be familiar with this mantra, which is Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Sishyati. So Swami is sort of referring to that mantra, because many times we chant mantra without understanding even the superficial meaning. So here Swami is going on to say that is Purnam, this is Purnam. If you take Purnam from Purnam, still Purnam remains, is what Swami says. It's like the ocean, I guess. The ocean is one. And if you take ocean water out of it, that is also still ocean. It's also part of the ocean. Though you may hold it separately in your hand, it is still part of the ocean. The ocean is not diminished by we picking up a handful of ocean water. So is the Lord. I think if there are no comments or questions, we'll wait for 10-15 seconds and Sister Kalyani will read on. Sairam, Sister Kalyani, I think you can read on. Just an announcement for people with phones. If you would like to talk and you're unable to unmute yourself, you have to press *6 to unmute yourself. And then please mute yourself back after you speak with *6. Saira.
Bhakta. Oh, what a fine teaching! Just like giving unto the hand a fruit peeled and ready to eat, this manifested total cosmos, or Purna, arose out of the Purna of unmanifested, indivisible reality. This is what you spoke of, is it not? It is on account, Swami, it is on account of this that we say Vasudeva Sarvamidam, Sarvam Kalavidam Brahma, etc. The words Vasudeva, Brahma are different, but there is no difference in meaning at all. Did you understand? Bhakta. It is all like nectar, Swami, but so far you have not told me who I am. Swami. This is enough for now. Next month I shall solve your doubts with illustrative examples. Grasp well what has been told. Practice, don't forget and lay aside. Meditate on it. Well, you can take leave now.
Thank you very much, sister. As you can see, Swami is going on to say, Vasudevam Sarvamidam is Vasudeva, or the Lord Vasudeva, or Krishna, Vishnu, or God himself, is everything that we see. Sarvam Idam. Idam means all this that we see. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. Sarvam Kalu Idam Brahma, as the four words which compose this. Sarvam means all. Kalu means indeed. Idam, this. Brahman, or the God, the expansive or ever expanding Godhead, is Brahma. And then Swami also is going on to say you should put it into practice. So I think that's something I think we should all think about. How does Swami want us to practice this? I think that's something I think everyone can. I think you all have not commented. How can we practice this idea of Swami? God is everywhere. He's divided and he's undivided. Is Purnam there and Purnam here? I think that's something maybe we can spend a few minutes on. So I will open up for any thoughts, suggestions, ideas, comments, please. Saira. I think there's absolute silence. Maybe the practice itself is silence, I guess. It is, I think, our attempt to understand that whenever we see something, reminding ourselves, we may not be able to fully experientially understand this. That's my personal view. I struggle with it. But I think to know that beneath, the Lord remains. But he may have changed the form a little bit because that's a vikriti. But still there is divinity nonetheless. I think if we acknowledge that and go about in our daily life, slowly, hopefully, one day we will have a full experiential uh, reality of that principle. That's what I think we can do. So I think we will move on, Sister Kalyani.
Chapter 5. Swami, well, my boy, I am glad you have come. Are you reflecting on the answers I gave last time and practicing what has been told with firm conviction? Are you deriving ananda therefrom? Bhakta, Swami, will any bhakta like me allow your words, nectar-like words, to go to waste? No one aspiring to attain real ananda will throw away the ambrosial words that you confer in your grace. I do not know about others, but I am reflecting upon your answers night and day and practicing them with courage and conviction. I am awake all the time, waiting for the next chance to meet you.
As you can see, Swami is again emphasizing on the need for us to try to practice this. Sister Kalyani, can you go back, sister? Okay, sorry, thank you. And Swami wants us to practice, and he also wants us to, and I think the words which he has used is conviction and ananda. Means we should have firm conviction, we should believe it firmly. And we also should derive ananda, joy from that. I think once we realize that there is Swami anywhere, we will be happy. We will derive joy. And of course, the Bhakta is assuring Swami, assuring himself, I guess, and that he's practicing with courage and confidence. I think that's because you should understand that Swami is writing this. Even to see the Lord requires some courage. That's what Swami says. And I think he's waiting to see Swami again. I think just all of us are waiting for every Saturday to read the Sandeha Nivarini from Swami. Anyone would like to say anything, please? Okay, Sister Kalyani, I think we can move on. Read on.
Sairam, brother.
Sister.
According to this second paragraph, Swami will any bhakta like me to allow your words, the nectar like words, right? So everything we wanted to understand what Swami is saying. The one we started up with a lot of Sanskrit words and avidya and thing. That part I think we should have spent a little more time to understand, because that has a lot of information in it. I don't know if going back is good or not. Just suggesting, because I didn't understand the first part of the thing. So I don't know. That's just my thoughts. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, sister. Which words are you referring to, sister? Are you referring to any specific words or in general you are saying?
Sairam, the one we started with.
Today?
Yes.
Okay, so we can go back again. Yeah, I think that's a good point, because we should understand. I think I will go over the Sanskrit words and maybe we can discuss. I thought I just sort of. So vidya is that by which you know. Vid means to know. Ya means that by that which. So vidya means that whatever it is by which you know is called vidya. Usually we refer to vidya as education, but bookish knowledge. Swami would say a book will not give you knowledge. So it is not only reading something, It's also being able to experientially understand anything which gives that, is able to give that with that realization of the truth of God or the truth of anything is called Vidya. And I think there's word of avidya shakti. So even the avidya, or that which blocks us from knowing, that's which is avidya. That which does not allow us to know is avidya. It's also called maya. So those are two words. Then, of course, Satya, I think all of us know, that which does not change. It is not mere facts which we talk about. That which does not change is Satya. Again, Satya means that which is Sat is Satya. So that which does not change is Satya. Ya means who or what in Sanskrit. Then the word comes Akhanda. We have Akhanda Bhajan coming up. We have it for 24 hours, but Swami would say 24-hour bhajan is not Akhanda Bhajan. Because at the end of the 24 hours, you break. But what it basically means is we should continuously be singing throughout our life. Only then it becomes Akhanda Bhajan, without a break. It's Akhanda. Advaita means, Dvaita means dual, two. Advaita means that which is not two. That's one. Ananta. Ananta means, anta means to end. Ananta means there's no end. So that's eternal. Swami also used the words idam. Idam means this. Idu in Tamil we will say. This is idam. Adam means that. I think Tattvamasi also, we also, there are many Upanishad Vakyas where it says this and that. So those are two words. Always God is referred in the Sanatana Dharma as that, or Tat. It's not even given a name in Upanishads. And then Swami goes, Purna is what is complete, is Purna, I think all of us know. I think those are some of the words which Swami introduced. And so,
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Now I got it. Thanks a lot.
Okay, Sister Kalyan, you can move on to.
Swami, it is this alertness that devotees should cultivate. To attach oneself to the flimsy, paltry foolishness of the world, and to run after them and worry when they slip out of the hands, or jump about in glee when you get them. All this is avidya, maya. But your counting of days, waiting for the chance, keeping awake for the opportunity of hearing the words of the Lord and imbibing their essence, that is vidya maya, internal illusions. If bhaktas fall into this maya, they will attain fulfillment without fail, some day or other. So since this vidya maya has illumined you, you are fortunate. Develop this, that is to say, this dwelling on the thoughts of God. Don't give it up or reduce it for any reason, to any extent. You will become holy without fail. You will reach fulfillment and attain the goal.
Thank you very much, Sister. I think it's pretty clear. I think we have already discussed Vidya Maya and Avidya Maya. Swami is going on to talk about this. I will just point out one thing. Next to Vidya Maya, there's an English translation called internal illusion. I don't know whose translation that is. It is not Swami's words. What I find is many of the Vahinis have undergone lots of changes over a period of time. I think different people have tampered with it. So the internal illusions is not accurate or not a proper. It's an incorrect translation, to put it mildly. So avidya, and Swami is explaining. I think Swami's explanation is much more clear, and I think all of us should understand. When we go after the world as real, is avidya. when we know that the Lord is inherent, is within that world, and then go after him or her, whichever is appealing to us. And I think that is Vidya Maya, and the Swami says we should always engulf ourselves in that Vidya Maya. And Swami is saying we should not give up or even reduce it for any reason. That's what Swami says. I think I'll stop here. Anyone who would like to share your thoughts, comments, please go ahead.
Sairam, Brother Arno, you were explaining about Vidya Maya and that translation in English, it says internal illusions. Would you be elaborating on that one? Is it, I didn't get that part correctly, that you meant that internal illusions is incorrect, or what is that really telling us here?
It's incorrect, sir, completely incorrect. I think somebody has written it, whoever was editing at that point in time. If you look at the Vahinis over a period of time, people have removed the Sanskrit words, or even the Telugu words, original words Swami has used. And it's also Vikriti, as you know, things keep on changing over a period of time, and sometimes it is completely different from what is original. So I don't know why and who attempted to put the word internal illusions, because it is there. I just warned you. It is not. I don't consider it accurate. That's my personal opinion. It's not a good translation.
Sairam, my voice is not that great today. This is Ananthi Mahindran. And when I look at the next sentence, since this Vidya Maya has illumined you, you are fortunate. That means that the internal illusions, that translation is absolutely, in my personal view, that is wrong, because otherwise the subsequent sentence, it wouldn't make sense. Since this Vidya Maya has illumined you, you are fortunate. That means that the Vidya Maya, as Brother Aruno explained, that should carry a different meaning than the internal illusions. Thank you, Saira.
And I want to bring one more point here, like we should be in the state of the Lakshmana instead of that means to look forward to see the Rama. That's a status on this paragraph, I think.
Yes, yes, I think so too. I think I like the word, I sort of was attracted to the instruction from Swami, don't reduce it. I think maybe we all don't give it up. We may give it temporarily, or we even reduce that kind of thinking at times in our life. I think Swami is warning us not to, so that he says then we can become holy and we will reach the fulfillment and go on. Those are the words which are very reassuring, and also reminding us that we should continuously attempt to see the divinity revealed.
I guess, are there any practical points or tips that anyone has about not reducing those thoughts? Because sometimes I feel like I go in cycles where, sometimes I do want to spend a lot of time on these thoughts of gods, and then, like something else will kind of distract me, like, oh, something needs to be done, and then I feel like I'm not thinking about God as much for a period of time. Yeah, so I don't know if there's any practical tips for that.
The forum is open for anyone to give a tip, please. I'm sure all of you are practicing in many different ways. If there are, I think Sister Kalyani just would like anyone to share.
Saira, brother. So, okay, the divinity in everything and every being and all, treat them alike. Then you are liberated and you are liberated, become one with God. So you have to see everywhere, everything, divinity. That's so that is called Vidya Maya. So we can explain as a Vidya Maya too, brother. Thank you.
I think that's what Swami is referring to, brother. As long as we exist separately, we cannot be escaping from Maya. I think it changing, transmuting that Maya into Vidya. That's all we can do as separate with our human existence. Until we merge, the Maya is there between us and the Lord. So as much as possible, if we make it Vidya, which is the Lord, we are always reaching out to the Lord through that curtain of Maya. I think it's still Vidya Maya, but that's what Swami is asking us to do, is what I understand. Um, Others can definitely share their thoughts, please.
Thank you, brother.
I think Sister Kalyani, I think no one has a tick, but I'm sure they all practice something to remind themselves of Swami. I think that's why we even have photos of Swami in our houses. When also we uh, try to inculcate, when we eat, before we eat, we pray. Before we do anything, we pray. Like that, we can, like when you're having shower, you can pray. When you're cooking, you can pray. So if we cultivate some sort of ritual, I would say it's a spiritual ritual. Before you do anything, you do this, think of Swami. Something like that, if we introduce, I think that helps us to remind ourselves of that dawn. I think which is very prevalent in India. I don't know if anyone has gone and seen, even the unlettered folks in the villages. Before anything, they will pray. Every act which they do, they will pray and remind themselves of God. I think that is the only way we can increasingly practice seeing the divinity. That the divine hand should always be with us, whatever we do. We open a book, we should think of Swami. We open a laptop to work, we think of Swami. As a doctor, you pick up the stethoscope, you think of Swami. So I think we have to come up with some way of reminding ourselves for every act which we do or speak. I think that's the only way, I guess. I'm sure everyone who is here is practicing that in some manner. Other than that, I don't know of anything myself personally. Others have not shared. So I thought I will share this. And we wait for about 10-15 seconds and then you can proceed.
Thank you, Sairam. Sometimes when you do, even those rituals that you try to inculcate into your daily life, those are good reminders. But sometimes you feel that, like it becomes a bit of rote or routine and your heart really isn't into it. And I don't know if there's any solution for that or.
Okay, that's a very valid point. Again, I think I'll open it up to everyone to share your thoughts. How do we make it become less mechanical? Meaning without our heart not being there. We just doing it for the sake of doing it. Do you all have any?
Hello, Sairam brother. This is Sitaram.
Yes.
One practical tip which I particularly follow is that whenever I start thinking about the worldly things, within me I start telling that I love you, Swami, and I keep repeating that like a mantra within me, so that my love for Swami keeps increasing and the love for world keeps reducing. This worked for me many times, and even now I keep following that. And whenever I read Swami's books, the more you love Swami, you'll start doing his, whatever he has instructed, you'll start doing for the love of Swami. And I think with a simple saying of "I love you, Swami," very sincerely within you, you need not tell it publicly or something, but you can just repeat it, just like Sai Gayatri, how you do. and you know the meaning of it. I love you. That's all it is. And just imagine that Swami is sitting there and he's just looking at you very lovingly. It's a simple exercise. You cannot tell it's a, you cannot manifest it in front of you, but that's what I practice. So I thought that may help people. So I know.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
It's not simple, brother. It's so profound. That's all I can say. I think everyone here will vouch for something like that. Thank you. Silent Sister Kalyan, I think you read on.
Bhakta. Swami, last month you said you will explain to me who I am. If I understand that also, I can be rid of the little delusion that I have, and without the slightest trace of doubt, meditate on you and be blissful. What greater fortune can I have? Swami, well, my boy, to speak about the real nature of I is very easy, but until it is experienced, full contentment is impossible. For me to tell you to my satisfaction and for you to grasp its full meaning, it needs some time. This month, even the allotted hours of the day are not enough for me. Though it is like this, I am using all the time for the Ananda and the Ananda of Bhaktas only. I have nothing of my own. Being useful for my Bhaktas, that is my selfish purpose. Throughout last month, I went to Nellore, Gudur, Venkatagiri, and the villages around. Afterwards, I went to Bangalore and returned. What little time was available, I used for Prema Vahini. This month, I visited Hyderabad, Rajamundry, Samalkot, Chebrolu, Nuzvid, etc. So there is no spare time. Next month, I shall tell you about who you are to your full satisfaction. For the present, try to grasp the meaning of this song in folk dance style. You will understand who this you is to a large extent. It is possible you will get vairagya, detachment, renunciation to a large extent through this. Later, you will understand the meaning of what I have to say more clearly and with greater ease. Do not merely read this song, but think well on the meaning of each word. The song will certainly turn your brain. Bhakta. All right, give me at least that. I shall satisfy my desire. I shall drink the nectar and digest it. Swami, listen carefully.
Thank you very much, sister. So I think the Bhakta is persisting. Swami as the Bhakta is persisting to know who I am. And Swami as Swami is telling that he has been busy and the time is not enough. And Swami goes on to talk about different places. I think there's some significance in what he has said. Then he says, I'm going to tell who you are. And he says, that will prepare you for the lesson on who that I is. I think that's what Swami is saying. Swami says, first we have to cultivate vairagya or detachment from the world. I think the translation is either detachment or renunciation. There's no one single English word which can give the meaning. Vairagya comes from the word viraga. Viraga comes from the original word raga. Raga means attachment. We wanting this, we wanting that. It's raga. Swami uses the word raga, dvesha, sometimes as a pair. We like something and we don't like something. So raga is like, or wanting something. Viraga means without likes. So vairagya is actually the state where we don't have any likes. So once we reach that state, then we will be in a position to understand who that I is. That's what Swami says. I will stop here. Anyone else who would like to, any thoughts which you have in your mind about what Swami has said here and what we read just now? Please go.
Just a small question. On the previous slide to this, Swami said that giving Ananda to his bhaktas is his selfish desire. I wonder why he said selfish.
Okay, that's a good question, sister. I thought somebody will ask this question. So I will open it up for anyone here to think why Swami used the word selfish. I think we should be selfless, is what we all think. And why is Swami having this selfish tendency? That's a question which all of us, the thought will crop. So I think I will open it up for discussion, because sometimes we have to discuss this openly, because then that's so our own faith becomes undiminished, not altered and steady. So I think it's a very good question Sister Kalyani has asked. Anyone who would like to share? Why is Swami calling it selfish, and isn't it bad? I think those are all two ways we can discuss this. Sairam.
Sairam, it looks like he is stressing the point. Stressing that is his only purpose, and one and only purpose is that. So self is the soul and heart, it is my purpose. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to?
Sairam, can you please display that screen, please? Where that Swami's selfish thing is coming. Oh, I have it. Thanks, Sairam.
Sairam, Swami was saying he's not selfish, no? That means he's living for bhaktas. He come to this world to liberate us. And that's the thing, I think he used that word, Sairam.
Sairam, anyone else would like to say?
Sairam, I am also having the interpretations. Swami saying that in my personal view, I don't have any selfish purpose, but this is the only selfish purpose for me. As long as the bhaktas follow this one, and if they get the ananda, then that would be my selfish. Indirectly, he is saying that that's not considered a selfish purpose, but even that is the only thing I think that's my selfish. In my interpretation, that is even not a selfish purpose. Thank you, Saira. Otherwise, Swami explaining that all these things I am doing for the bhaktas, visiting there, visiting here, and everything for bhaktas, then how can it be a selfish for Swami? Swami does everything for bhaktas. So if that is the case, maybe it has a different inherent meaning on that one. That's my interpretation on this one. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, sister. I think I will, sometime back, I used to read this and I used to have these doubts. Though, I sort of understand what Swami is trying to say, because Swami's message comes through in other ways as well. So as a result, I decided some time back to go to the original Telugu, because translation can, as I said, it was originally translated, then it was subsequently edited by people, and sometimes the original message or words of Swami gets so distorted that sometimes we have to go to the original source. So if you, I think that's a good question, because I just wanted to put that as is rather than change the translation. So I think all of us should know. Swami, but in Swami's original Telugu, I think, fortunately for us, in our study circle, Swami has lent us a Telugu-speaking person. Brother Sitaram is from Andhra Pradesh, who recently came to Canada. So he's a wealth of resource for all of us. So in the original Telugu, what Swami says is, "Naku veru swarthamu ledhu." This is what Swami has said. What it basically means is, I am doing everything for my devotee's sake. I do not have any other selfish need. This is what Swami has said in his original Telugu. But unfortunately, when it's translated and retranslated and re-edited, sometimes original message gets lost. So I think it was very good. Actually, it was good that Sister Kalyani picked it up. She understands something in her own heart, and this does not make sense. So there is no, in Swami's words, in original Telugu, Swami is not talking about any selfishness. He basically says, "Naku veru," means I don't have any other selfish motive. This is what Swami has said. So that has been translated as, this is the only selfish motive. Sometimes these things happen, as the original word is, I do not have any other selfish motive, is what I understand. I think that should sort of answer some of the question and some of the challenges. See, then we can ask, why is Swami making it difficult for us? Why can't he make sure that the Sathya Sai Publications Trust gives us original, because these are things, because sometimes something incorrect, when it shows up, we pay more attention to clarify our own mind. I think so. In this world, just the way there are so many temptations which can, shake us up. In the spiritual field also, there are blocks. And I think the more we search and search, Swami will help for us to understand the principles very well. And I think because of this, these things happen. Because sometime back, it was original. There are so many hands in this translation and editing process in India and in the US and so on. And sometimes things get out of hand. That's my understanding. Right? Anyone else would like to share anything? Please go ahead.
So, Sairam,
I think we should read it as a sole purpose instead of selfish purpose. Sole purpose. That's the only purpose.
Okay. Thank you very much, brother.
So, Sairam, brother. So the selfish purpose. So sometimes maybe sometimes it's kind of Maya, because Maya will affect the God also. So taking care of the devotees and cure the sickness and talking to them and thinking about the devotees, even Swami also think about the devotees. That also maybe that is kind of selfishness too, because he's thinking about the devotees. Thank you, brother.
Thank you very much, brother. Very well put. As this is a kind of Vidya Maya, because we can tend to think Swami is selfish for his own devotees, but that is also Vidya Maya. He wants even that, because he has taken on a human form. It seems as if he prefers some people. He attaches importance to some people. It looks like that because we all see Swami also with our own eyes. Yes, that's also part of the Vidya Maya, as Brother Dasan has very nicely put it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I think we can go on if there are no other thoughts or comments. Sairam, Sister Kalyan.
Sairam, I want to bring another paragraph here, like that we studied earlier, to this aspect. Before that, I want to tell a small example. Like the mother will cook the food for their children, and she will enjoy it, when the children are enjoying the food, she'll be really, really happy. That's a mother's nature. That's what Swami was telling in this book earlier in the chapter. How sad will the riot be if the seeds he has planted do not sprout and yield harvest? So too, if the seeds of the true wisdom that I sow do not come up as good saplings and give good harvest, I am too affected. So Swami is worried about it because the saplings that didn't come out and they are not enjoying it. Then he's affected too. So, and also on the other hand, if they grow well and fructify into a harvest of Ananda, how happy I would be. So he's showing his Ananda. He's showing like a mother the Ananda, because when we are happy, he's happy. That's the nature of a mother. She is mother to the creation. So she's the mother, and he's also saying that is my food. This is the seva you should do to me. You should do to me. You know, that's the same principle. He is bringing it over here and telling us that because of the happiness of other people, even if you call it me as I am doing it as a selfish purpose, I don't care. I don't care. Even if you are telling that Swami, you are doing it as a selfish thing, I don't care, because this is for the betterment of the people, for the betterment of the creation that I have done it. You know, you should understand it with what purpose I am doing it. Yeah, thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you very much. Anyone else would like to comment or say something, please? I think Brother Arul has very well put it, because Swami says in a couple of discourses he has said, you know, we all love people in this world for our own selfish reasons. You know, if that's as human being, that's the reality. Like even if a parent wants the child to do well, sometimes their own desires they superimpose on the child, and they will tell the child, do it, I'm telling it for your own good. And the child may say, no, you are not. But this is a struggle which goes on in this world. But Swami says God is the only one who does not do anything for his sake. Devotee loves God for devotee's sake. We pray to Swami, we love Swami for our sake. But Swami says God loves you not for his sake, for your sake. Because when he has everything, there's no real reason for him to be selfish, because he owns everything. You know, everything belongs to him. That is the state. But the thing is, he is pained by seeing us suffering, and so he just wants us to, you know, taste that joy. And so we can also say that it's selfish because he identifies with us. You know, because we are part of him. So from that sense, you could say, I think it's selfish. But yes, just like the mother, when she's overjoyed when the child, as Brother Arul very nicely put in this analogy, yes, the mother is so overjoyed when she sees the child eating. And the child is the one who is really enjoying it. But the mother enjoys by looking at that. So that's a joy which the mother craves for, not out of selfishness, but out of selflessness. Very nicely put, Brother Sai. Sister Kalyani, I think you can read on.
Sorry, one more thing I have to bring it.
Yes.
Kalyani was asking a question: how do we think of God even in a daily thing? Krishna was in the Kurukshetra battle, but in the battlefield he was giving this upadesha to Arjuna. See, if Arjuna could listen to this upadesha in the battlefield, imagine all those warriors kind of people in front of them. He is challenging all those people. In that sort of circumstances, Krishna was giving his discourse to Arjuna. to make him understand that. And he keep on asking him, have you understood it? Because Swami, if you read this paragraph, all the time he's asking, have you understood it? Are you practicing it? He keep on asking us because he is checking upon us here. That's another way. We have to take these kind of sentences very seriously, not like just a come and go kind of thing. We have to take it seriously. Why Swami is asking every time, did you understand? Did you understand? Because unless we put it in practice, this is not going to happen. And then bringing it to Kalyani, his question is like, if the Arjuna could learn it at that battlefield, why can't we do it in our daily lives? Our daily life is not like a battlefield against that enemies. We are leading a simple life in this world. So, and brother, one of those brother, he was telling, I love you, Swami. That's a great mantra, I would say. That's a great mantra we should practice. And one more thing I want to emphasize here, like I was listening to when I was in the study circle last week, I didn't understand many of those things. Okay, I was kind of resented. Oh, why did I come to this study circle? These lectures are going to be like an MSc, PhD students. I cannot understand any of these things. I was kind of worried and kind of thing. And I was asking Swami, please help me. Please help me. Then I was listening to the study circle and the brothers and sisters putting their perspective in a beautiful manner. They were asking these questions. And then you were explaining, you were giving the answers in a beautiful way that clears my doubt. When I woke up in this morning, my mind is all, wow, I should attend this study circle today. That sort of a mindset I had this morning. I woke up early and I was even reading this paragraph one more time. And then because I would encourage everybody to please take part and share your thoughts. That way, we are listening, we are hearing, and we are learning from you. Because if we are keeping silent, because I don't know, we have read all these paragraphs and how much we have learned out of it, but I will emphasize, please, I know the English is a barrier, even I have a very difficult thing to put my ideas into English, but the thing is, but you are all learned people here. Please say something so we can also learn. That's the idea that we are all joining. Please help us, please help me. Rather than, please help me to understand this more and more. That way, you are helping me to go up in my spiritual progress. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
So, Sai Ram, brother, I'd like to add one more thing. How you can think about God all the time. Once the Kurukshetra was finished, Lord Krishna asked the Kunti Devi, what can I do for you? You suffered a lot. And so Kunti Devi answered, Lord, give me the same struggle for me. Then only I can think about you all the time. So even those bad time, even good time, you have to think about God. Most of the people, they think about when they're suffering time only. Thank you. Sai Ram, brother.
Sai Ram, brother. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, I have read something on yesterday. God, we are all living here we are acting like we are acting in this world for our role. God always give us a hard part, the struggling and everything. We thinking struggling, but the director always give the good role to the person who can act harder. That means we are suffering, then we are good actors in this drama. Only good actors can act like that. So like you, brother, I don't know, whatever struggle is there, we are good actors. That means we are liberating, like a Kunti Devi. That's what I was always think. Whenever the sorrow or everything comes, I'm a good actor. That's what God is giving me.
Thank you, sister. I think one of the challenges is, if we ask Swami's help to make us think of him, the only way he can help is, as Brother Dasan said, giving us difficulties. So I think we are better off on our own trying to think of him, because once he starts helping, it can be really painful. But whichever way it comes, as long as we benefit, I think that matters. Very, very nice, very wonderful thoughts shared by brothers and sisters. It's a Guru Purnima weekend, and it's such a joy, that Swami has given us this chance to treat him as Guru. That's a real celebration of this Guru Purnima is to treat Swami as Guru. Otherwise it is no Guru Purnima celebration. And we are all trying to learn this weekend from Swami. And I think that's a great blessing Swami has given us all to spend this time today, think of him, to think of what he has taught. Sister Kalyani, you can read on.
They, dummy, see the tamasha play of this puppet doll. O Jiva, listen to the long tale of its past, its future, behind and front. It rolled at first in mushy mire of mother's womb, its prison dark. It came with a whimper, but all around they smiled in joy and feasts galore. O tragedy, I am born again. It knew and wept, both loud and long, but all the while they caressed it and laughed to raise a laugh.
Thank you, sister. I'll just go over some words, I guess, and then we can have a discussion. So Swami calls it a Burra Katha, which is like village song and storytelling, which is prevalent in Andhra Pradesh. And so Swami is using that mode to teach us. Thai 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 is the dance, the words which depict someone dancing. Dummy, or in this case, the word which Swami has used in Telugu is bomma. A bomma can be a doll, a puppet, and of course, I think Professor Kasturi has translated as dummy. So that is the dance of this doll or puppet. And see the tamasha play. It's tamasha in Telugu basically means some I think Brother Sitaram, you can add here. It's just a funny amusement drama or play, which there's something like a puppet show, I guess. The tamasha play. It's so strange, I think. And so Swami is telling, O Jiva, he's addressing us, the Jivatma, and saying, listen to this long tale of its past and present, what happened before and what happens after, and the present also, I guess. And he says in the first, it was in the mushy mire of the mother's womb, and it's dark and present. The word which Swami uses in Telugu is mala mutra, which basically means feces and urine. He says that is actually Professor Kasturi has made it mild, those words, but Swami in Telugu basically says it's mala mutra, that is feces and urine. In that only this infant is roiling, or it is living in the mother's womb. And then it came with the struggle from the mother. But everyone else around, while it is suffering inside the tummy, people outside are celebrating that a baby is going to be born. No one understands that it is struggling in that filth. That's what Swami says. But people are so overjoyous that a baby is growing. But the baby's lot is very bad. Then Swami goes into the third paragraph where he says, oh, the child is sad, it's crying, I am born again in this world, and it's screaming. But people are so happy, they are caressing it, patting it, and they are celebrating the moment. Whereas I think in many languages, especially in Indian languages, there is some song or other where we would say, when I'm born, I am crying and the world is laughing. That's the story of everyone's life. So that's what Swami is referring to. Sometimes we are happy when somebody else is suffering, without knowing that they are suffering. That is avidya or maya. So Swami is explaining to us so that we properly understand who we are. So I will stop here, and I think everyone can share your thoughts, please.
And at the end, when we merge with God, everybody else cried.
So yes, brother, but I think Swami will come to that later. But he's talking about the birth at this point. So.
I think Sairam, I think the tamasa play means like a tamash. There's a word here, tamash. It didn't have customs. I don't know whether it's a Tamil word or another word, but we picked up from another language. But we say tamash. That means like a funny kind of thing, sort of things, I believe. And also on the second paragraph, Swami talking about this Mashi Maya, the mother's womb, and even in Patinatar, he's saying about when in one of his things, he's not talking about the child, but about in a different perspective, he was talking about that too. Thank you, Saira.
Sairam. I think Swami wants us to, because sometimes in life we go through many occurrences without really looking through and understanding the real reality. Because of that, we attach to all this. Swami always refers to the body as Mala, Mutra, Mamsa, Rakta, Durganta. He says his body is feces, urine, flesh, meat, Mamsa, Rakta, blood, and Durganta. It's something which smells bad. He says this is the reality of the body. But this body we decorate and we think it's beautiful. Swami says, will you fill up, something which you excretion into something and call it very beautiful? We will not. There's a story, and maybe it's a slight digression, but it's a story told by Swami. There was a princess. None of us, if you're talking, so I thought I would tell the story because we're going into it can be very depressing, but I think it's a nice story. Yeah, Swami says there was a beautiful princess. She was a very devout person, very almost a jnani, and apparently once a prince saw her and fell in love with her looks, not with her, with her looks, and he wanted to marry her, and so he approached her and said, "I want to marry you." Then he says, "Okay, wait for a few weeks and come and see me." And he said, "Okay." So he thought there's some hope at the end of the tunnel, So he said, "You will wait for 3 weeks and come back." During this time, what she did was, apparently she took a lot of purgative. Bedi, as in Indian languages is said, she took, and she was passing stools every day. And she collected the stools or the feces or excretion regularly and put it in jars every day. Whatever came out was put in a jar. And she kept it in a room. And through this process, she became like bones and skin. By the end of the 21 days, if anyone looked at her, she looked like a skeleton which is draped in skin. So you can see how scary it can be. So by the 21 days, the prince was eagerly coming. So she stayed in this room where she had, for the 21 days, excreta was put in jars and kept. In that room, it was stinking, with very bad odor. She stayed and asked, "Let the prince be sent here." So the prince apparently went there and he couldn't believe his eyes. There was a skeleton there in that room, and the room was stench with bad odor, so bad. He couldn't stand for even a couple of seconds. And it was a real torture for him. Then that princess tells that prince, "Do you want to marry me now? This is what I am." Because you thought it was very beautiful. But what you found beautiful is all around here. Do you want that? Or do you want Atman? you better go after the Atman, which is a real thing, which makes it all look good. So that was a story which is told by Swami. So Swami gives a lot of importance to these words, Mala Mutra, feces and urine, to describe the human existence. Because that's the only way we will get Vairagya. We will not go and sit in the toilet with pleasant feelings. We cannot maybe live even, unless we reach a state where we don't see the difference. Once we come to that state, we are with the Lord. So I think Swami wants to drive home that and understand and ask us the questions which we need to ask. Sometimes we just look at the skin and looks, and we don't see what is beneath. And then we fall in love with that. That's the way we fall in love with everything in this world. We don't go within to see. But of course, Swami will say, go if the self, because if you look at only the body, it's all dirt and filth. But there is an Atman which is shining through, and we should be able to see that. And then, all this doesn't really matter. And Swami wants us to see that also within us. I think that's Swami's really trying hard to explain to us who the real we are. And those are some thoughts which I thought I would share, because I spoke to a lot, because no one else is venturing to speak today. It's a very silent study circle. Sairam. Anyone else who wants to share your thoughts, please go ahead and share. I think it's pin drop silence. I think this way, Swami's way of making us develop detachment. We should not look at people as bodies. Are we enticed by the body and the looks of the body, or are we looking through that to see the Atman? I think that's Swami's work here. So I think I will ask Sister Kalyani to read on. I think maybe it's pretty clear to everyone. It was unnecessary speaking. Sairam, Sister Kalyani, please go. Read on.
In its own dirt it wallowed day, without a sense of shame. It rose and fell at every step, acting daily a childish play. It runs and skips with gangs of chums, and learns 100 tricks and trades. It grows so tall and thick and broad, from year to year, very fast and fair. It moves in pairs and bills and coos, in rosy rainbow style. It sings in tunes unheard before, and quaffs the cup, unique and strange.
Okay, I will just go, unless if someone else is volunteering to go through. I'll wait for a few seconds. Maybe I will go ahead and try to share with you all what I understand from these words, and then you all can chip. As Swami can say, it's as a child, the child doesn't even know what is dirt and not. The child is actually wallowing in dirt all the time, and it doesn't have a sense of shame. It's learning to play. It's trying to walk, it falls down, gets up, falls down, and it has its childish pranks and plays, which of course the adults are so they enjoy it so much. Then later on, it grows as a child, I guess, a kid, and it runs and plays with other kids, and then it grows tall and broad and strong every year. Then it moves in pairs. The Swami is here talking about the marriage of individuals. You become a teenager, an adolescent, then you become an adult, young adult, and then you look for a partner, a spouse, and it builds and goes. It enjoys, I guess, this romance, and everything looks rosy. The world looks very rosy for this puppet or doll. And then it sings in tunes unheard before. It wants it to be the unique one. No one else has done this ever in their lives. That type of feeling everyone has. We want to do something so unique that we want to be the only ones, and we want to have a name which is never no one has ever had. We want to dress like no one else has ever had, that type of thing. We all want something so unique. We are so caught up in it, not realizing that there's nothing unique in this world. And then it calls the cup unique and strange. So, it sort of thinks that it is enjoying this uniqueness of its own existence as a young adult. Those are things which we all go through, I guess, in our lives. So Swami is talking about this thing, this Maya doll, or the Maya puppet which is caught in Maya, and how it travels in its life. So those are some of the things which Swami is talking about. So I will open it up for any comments or thoughts, please. Does anyone feel, just reading these helps us in developing our Vairagya? It's really a silent study circle today. I think there are many compositions in many regional languages too. I think in Tamil also, many people have talked about this type of life which we all lead. And Swami wants us to understand what this body is, because we all think we are the body. So first he wants to cut that you are not this. Okay, I think he wants us to understand ourselves. We are not this. Swami also wants us to understand whoever we see are not the body. And he wants us to understand, develop this vairagyam or detachment. Understand that this is not the real person. For that, he's telling the story. It's around 10:15 today. I think there's quite a bit of a dose of vairagyam. I think we can all contemplate on this for the next week and ask ourselves, how are we fooling ourselves? We are happy when things, we should not be happy about things. Like every birthday we celebrate and we say, oh, happy birthday. But the thing is, we are all rushing towards death with each passing year, but we are also happy. So Swami wants us to understand that and celebrate the real thing which should be celebrated, and not celebrate things which should not be celebrated, or see the difference. It goes completely counter to our normal existence. When a child is born, we are happy. But Swami says your child is suffering, and it's going to suffer in its life. And then we all try all our best to make the journey of the child without problem-free, and we think that's our duty. I think every parent thinks like that, without understanding that our own life has not been peaceful and worry-free. So how can we ever make it worry-free for the child? And those are things I think we can contemplate on. We can think. I think I will ask anyone to share your thoughts. Please, we'll wait for 10, 20, 30 seconds. And nothing else, we'll stay in silence if no one has anything to say. And then
So,
Saira. Okay, go ahead, Brother Thasan.
It's okay, you can go ahead. I will wait for you.
Sairam, I got it because the topic we have learned today is actually who you are or who am I. So all these, the poem and everything, in my personal view, it explains you are not the body. You are more than that. That is the takeaway point I have had in today's lesson. Maybe every lesson, maybe I would I always try to understand what is the takeaway point from the discussion we have had today. From today's discussion, I got it, Yirvedi. I'm not the body. Swami trying to tell all these poem and different view. You are not the body. You are more than that. That is the takeaway point for me today. Thank you, Saira.
So, Sairam brother, so according to this poem, so, we learn about that 82 million of creatures and everything, but God created all those one and he's not satisfied because none of them started to tell about the creation or happy or grateful to the God. Then God created the human. Even though human, whatever we said, filthy and decay and everything, but God has given that one extra power, the knowledge. So the body has the acquire knowledge. So it can understand what is the purpose of the life. So it can attain the ultimate goal. Only human can attain the goal with the knowledge. Sairam brother, at the same time, I would like to one more thing, brother. This is the Guru Purnima day. It's a very beautiful day. It's a full moon day, bright. So we had to thankful our Swami and we had to pay our gratitude, showing the teaching, and we are happy that we are following whatever we can. So we are so happy to have you for the study circle as a leader to lead us on the right path. Thank you for everyone.
Ram, Guru is the one who shows the Guri. Guri is the purpose of life. So thank you to Swami, and I wish you all a happy Guru Purnima day. May Swami bless us all.
So Sairam everyone. So we will close today's discussion at this point in time and pray to Swami that Swami, you have given us this body so that we can reach you. Understand the reality of this body, which disintegrates and which is of no real value. Let us not attach too much importance to this body, but use it to see you, to find the real divinity within us. And may Swami, the Guru, the Supreme Guru, help us in this journey. And with prayers to that Guru, we'll close today's session with Samasta Lokaya and Shanti Shanti. Samastaloka Sukhino Samastaloka
Sukhino
Samastaloka
Sukhino Bhavantu.
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.